5 years ago, Chinese national Hector Ren moved to the United Arab Emirates. Today, he's a leading expert in artificial intelligence here.
在阿联酋最让我兴奋，的是整个政府以及企业都对 AI 以及前沿科技的逐渐的这种认知越来越强，然后我们能够快速的把一些前沿科技进行落地。我们看到街上的自动驾驶车越来越多，然后以及各种不同的那种科技的在各个公司之间的普及。
It's not just the country's digital scene that Hector has to navigate. He's far away from his loved ones, alone in a distant land that remains strange to him.
它跟中国以及欧美的文化其实存在很大的差异的，然后这是我最大的挑战。不同的是，大家说着不同的语言，然后有时候思维习惯会不同。我们有时候认为理所应当的事情，可能对于本地的朋友来说，会有一点诧异。
Hector is one of millions of Asian expats who are living and working in the Gulf Falcons, a group of oil-rich countries in the Middle East. In recent years, they have been working hard to diversify their economies away from the very commodity that has brought them wealth for decades.
For every country, they come to a point where they hit the pinnacle of their achievements, and then they realize that it's a point of saturation, and you need to find something new, to innovate further, and to find either a new target or a new landmark or project to achieve.
Over the past decade, the Gulf Falcons have rolled out generous incentives to attract foreign talent to grow their careers here. How are these professionals helping their host countries soar to new heights? What are the headwinds they have to weather? Will they nest here for the long term and make the Gulf a home away from home? With panoramic views of the Abu Dhabi skyline and a central location in the heart of the city, this district in the United Arab Emirates capital is teeming with expats. When Dr. Hector Ren moved here 5 years ago, he intended for it to be more than just a place to live. The Chinese national has been working out of his apartment even before the pandemic made hybrid work arrangements a norm. This flexibility to work remotely, including from overseas, is granted to him not by his employer, but courtesy of a special residency permit known as the Golden Visa.
在阿联酋这种情况下，你需要一定的自由度。然后经常呢，我也会在各个国家之间飞来飞去，然后拿到这种黄金签证呢，让你感受到一个 totally free， 就是绝对的自由，然后你将不再受各种条条框框的限制。
Introduced in 2019, the Golden Visa is a long-term residency permit offered to individuals in specialized professions that are in demand in the UAE. They include athletes, computer scientists, data analysts, doctors, engineers and specialists in the arts and creative industry. To attract these foreign professionals to grow their careers here, the Golden Visa accords its holders exclusive benefits such as the right to live in the UAE for up to 10 years, extending the visa to cover family members, and the flexibility to move in and out of the country, even for long periods.
跟雇主绑定的这种签证，你大概每2年要做一次 renew， 而且这过程很麻烦，需要重新进行体检，然后排队等等。在10年的黄金签证呢，将免去这一切的这种繁琐的东西，而且拿到这个黄金签证之后，你就有很大的这种自由度，你可以为自己工作，可以创建自己的 business， 然后不需要再跟任何一个雇主进行强绑定，充分的自由吧。
This autonomy has allowed Hector to run multiple tech startups out of the UAE. This is on top of his job as a technical advisor at a local university. To him, these enterprises are more than just vehicles for generating revenue. they plug him into the country's growing artificial intelligence sector.
近些年呢，我们发现阿联酋政府以及企业之间不停地加大对数字化转型以及 AI 前沿科技的投资的力度。阿联酋的工业信息部 initialize 创立了第一个300 billion 就3000亿的一个项目，叫Made in UAE。这个项目呢也是旨在加快 UAE 的数字化转型，以及 UAE 的生产制造以及 AI 科技产业的落地。
AI is just one of many sectors that the United Arab Emirates is seeking to develop into new engines of economic growth. Amid a global push to transition away from fossil fuels, the UAE has invested much of its oil revenue into nascent industries such as sustainability, digital health, and aerospace engineering. Today, the non-oil sectors account for 70% of the country's GDP, making the country a leader in economic diversification in the region. While the UAE may be the front runner in the race to seize new opportunities in a post-oil future, its neighbors in the Gulf Cooperation Council, or GCC, are slowly catching up. The GCC also comprises Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The fierce rate at which these countries are growing their economies has earned them the nickname Gulf Falcons, after the predatory bird that has long been synonymous with the region.
The Gulf states were driven by oil as the primary source of industrialization, the primary source of urbanization and suburbanization over the years. But these occurred across the 60s and 70s. We saw that first wave where they put their oil money into good use. And now we are seeing, further investments using oil revenues, which are at a very high price at the minute.
There's an opportunity for the GCC states to be leaders in different industries, different sectors. I think the other thing that's really important to think about when you're creating new industries is this incredible potential for exchange of knowledge, whether it be in manufacturing cars, or whether it be in the tourism sector, or whether it be in the logistics sector. You are creating these global hubs of expertise.
Each Gulf Falcon has its own unique economic diversification plans that have drawn expats, entrepreneurs, and investors to the region. Expats make their choice depending on which industries are their cup of tea, or in some cases, coffee. Amir Putrantio hails from Indonesia. He moved to Saudi Arabia about 2 years ago when he heard about exciting plans in the kingdom to grow its coffee industry. These plans involve Saudi Kolani beans, a variety of Arabica beans. They are known for their rich aroma, a result of being grown on fertile soil in the volcanic regions of the country's southwest. Farmers here have been cultivating coffee for generations. While neighboring Yemen and Ethiopia have traditionally dominated the global Arabica coffee market, Saudi Arabia is seeking to up its game. Over the next decade, the Kingdom's Sovereign Wealth Fund, PIF, will invest over $300 million to transform the national coffee industry. The aim is to boost production to 2,500 tons annually and export high-quality Saudi coffee to global markets. To do this, PIF is partnering the private sector to apply international best practices in all aspects of coffee production, from harvesting to roasting. This is where Amir comes in. Having established himself as a specialist roaster back home in Indonesia and neighboring Kuwait, he was recruited by a local roastery here. His job is to teach staff how to bring out the best flavors in this traditional beverage that's second only to Pepsi in its popularity here.
We change the temperature between the coffee when it's the end. From all of this, it should be changing the flavors from the coffee. Like example, if you go coffee is very slow, maybe your coffee is more sweeter. Very fast, you will be more taste the coffee more acidic.
What made Amir travel here to spill the beans on industry insights that he's accumulated over the years was the attractive relocation package.
The first of incentive, also the salary is much higher than in my country for the roster. Insurance, of course. Actually, here in Saudi Arabia, most of the employer you will get like free insurance, free visa, free accommodations, and free transportations. Those are really good. So it means that we take home pay precisely like how much they put in the job offer. So, and also here in Saudi Arabia, we don't need to pay tax for the salary.
Saudi Arabia's growing coffee industry offers just a small sampling of big changes that are brewing across the country. As part of its grand diversification master plan known as Vision 2030, the Kingdom seeks to provide greater support for businesses and create over 1 million jobs in non-oil sectors. This Gulf Falcon is preparing to take off. But at the same time, it's seeking to strike a balance between modernization and preserving its most sacrosanct norms and values. Deep inside the Emirati desert, Hadi Al-Ketbi watches over a priceless treasure, one that's cherished across the Gulf. And it's not oil. For centuries, falcons have been revered across the Arab world as a symbol of local culture and their most cherished values. As a member of the Bedouin, an indigenous tribe who pride themselves on being custodians of deep-rooted Arabic traditions, Hadi's family has been raising and training falcons for generations.
السيجارة تعتبر ثقافة لنا لأن هي شيء متوارثينه عن أجدادنا وشيء موروث شعبي عندنا نحن، وتعتبر الصيد بالصقور هاي من هواية الملوك عندنا نحن. طابع السيجارة والسيجارة عندنا نحن يعني شيء من المستحيل الإنسان عندنا هني اللي هو البدوي الصقار من المستحيل أن الشيء هذا يخليه، يعني شيء في دمه هذا من استواه هو متوارثينه من أب وجد.
Today, falconry is no longer reserved for royalty. It has become a way of life and a source of livelihood for the Bedouin and their birds. Hadi routinely trains his falcon to hunt for food and for sport. Hadi feels the falcon is the perfect metaphor to embody the GCC's aspirations to grow its economies and reach for greater heights.
والصقر يعلمك الصبر والشجاعة والشراسة، وحد من الناس يعلم الحكمة من التأني، يكون الطير متأني في قراراته، متأني في متى ينزل يصيد، وفي شراسته يعني إذا هجم عليه شيء يكون هو أشرس عنه، ويعلمك الصبر من ناحية أنك أنت تصبر عليه، كل ما كان فيه أي شيء فيه صبر كل ما أخذت أنت حكمة من الشيء هذا.
Traditional values, like the ones embodied by their common spirit animal, will continue to serve as the foundation for these societies, even as the Gulf Falcons seek to modernize and transform their countries. In neighboring Saudi Arabia, religion, local heritage, and a sense of national pride have been touted as core pillars of economic prosperity. They underpin the kingdom's economic diversification plans, even as it welcomes foreign technologies and ideas to help shape its nascent industries, like the creative sector, for example. This is Manga Productions, a creative studio based in Riyadh. It produces animated films, video games, and comics for local and international audiences. In making these media, the company uses styles and techniques that are inspired by Japanese art forms such as manga and anime. With a mantra to inspire the heroes of tomorrow, manga seeks to cater for the growing market in the Middle East, which is home to 60 million fans of the genre.
When I came here for the first time, I was kind of surprised that so many Saudi people are interested in Japan and love Japan and its culture, though we Japanese people don't know so much about Saudi Arabia. A lot of media talked about kind of Arabs or Islamic countries, kind of negatively. But when I came here, I have learned that in Saudi Arabia, for example, family ties and hospitality are highly valued, as in Japan, maybe more than in Japan. So I was really surprised at it. I think most of the Japanese people don't know about the fact, though we have a lot of kind of similarities, we have a lot of things in common between our countries.
Expat Shota Misutani spent more than 9 years as a Japanese teacher at a local university in Riyadh before joining the company. Today, he teaches the language to the staff here. That's on top of his roles as a researcher and a liaison between animators here and their counterparts in Japan. To replicate the high quality and standards that Japanese productions are known for, the company regularly partners studios in Japan. In facilitating these collaborations, Shota helps translate scripts, storyboards, and correspondences between the two sides.
I would like to be a bridge of Saudi Arabia and Japan, and would like to introduce the beauty of Saudi Arabia to Japanese people, as well as I would like Saudi people to know about Japan and its culture. So I believe that it's a perfect place to make my dreams come true.
In learning from the Japanese, the resident artists at Manga Productions have picked up valuable tools of the trade. Keen attention to detail and an uncompromising strive for perfection.
We do not accept making half quality work. It always has to be at full quality. There are a lot of Saudi manga out there, but some of them, they're basically are a Japanese manga with Arabic bubbles or Arabic voiceover. And that is not different or unique from Japanese anime. So what we do here at Manga Production, that we actually really focus on making sure that the characters look Saudi, they represent Saudi. Every single detail, they have to be drawn properly, and even the facial features. We try to incorporate the Saudi body language, the Saudi expressions. We really try to make our own style. We want to make something new.
Art director Mernin Berry is one of millions of Saudis who grew up watching Japanese anime. She seeks to inspire and engage the next generation by applying a Saudi spin on this beloved and timeless medium.
You are feeding young minds. If you just tell them things directly, don't do this, or this is gonna happen to you, they don't listen, they're very stubborn. But if a character does this, and the character goes through turmoil, and the character goes into despair, and then the character fixes itself and tries to improve oneself, they get inspired by the character. And hopefully in our next volume, we are trying to make the character grow with the audience.
This journey of discovery that Manga Productions typically puts its characters through mirrors the road to transformation that Saudi Arabia is embarking on. Through its Vision 2030 master plan, Saudi Arabia aims to not only ramp up economic diversification, but also enhance the quality of life of its residents, both local and foreign. The kingdom has taken steps to create a more welcoming environment for expats and investors.
Saudi Arabia has as much an urgency to diversify away from oil as its neighbors. In fact, the whole bulk of the Gulf states in the region recognize that at some point, oil and gas will become a sunset industry. But the reason why they have delayed that process for such a long time is because, in particular for Saudi Arabia, is that of their status as the custodian of the two holy mosques, meaning that they are home to the world's holiest sites for the Muslim community, which is the Ummah. And adhering to the principles and the guidelines of the religion, and in general practicing religious conservatism, over the years, over the decades, has resulted in a delay in stepping out of that shadow, if you like, to pursue more ambitious policies, to pursue more socially liberal policies. But they have done so in recent years, since 2015, especially under the leadership of a young crown prince.
Adjusting civil law to accommodate different religions, different cultural backgrounds, that really does change the way people think about a destination that they might want to travel to. That's one of the things that's measured in things like global competitiveness indices of cities and of locations.
One of these reforms is giving new rights to women. Recently, new laws have removed restrictions that prevented women from driving. They've also allowed women to go out in public without wearing a headscarf, or the abaya, the traditional black robes which have long been a symbol of Islamic piety. These changes represent a broader progressive trend towards modernization in the deeply conservative kingdom.
One of the key things that I think His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has done was really change the narrative around religion and conservatism, and empowered individuals to think about their own personal relationships with religion and their own interpretation of it. I think if you think about kind of post-Vision Saudi Arabia for women, it's unrecognizable to people who lived pre-Vision Saudi Arabia. There were changes that were happening. There were spaces for women to work. There were spaces for women to exercise certain degrees of recreation. But what the vision has done is really put kind of women into the center of change. So it has created a space where women find themselves to be on equal standing with men and be able to choose to do what they would like to do.
Women no longer need the permission of their male guardian to be able to travel. And that means the freedom to move, and with mobility comes the ability to participate in the workforce. And so women now becomes an integral part of the workforce, but one should understand that because of the long-standing high level of conservatism in the kingdom, these changes can be rolled out in policy but not be accepted socially overnight. That means that society needs time to absorb, needs time to digest the kind of policies which are, to them, considered revolutionary.
In recent years, the government has sought to empower women through training and providing more support for them to pursue their desired careers. This has led to a rise in the percentage of women in Saudi Arabia's workforce, from 20% in 2018 to 35% in 2022.
The initial target by 2030 was 22% participation, and it's now over 35% and growing. And actual overall unemployment has decreased even with this influx of women coming in. So you can see that the health of the economy is growing with these women coming in as well. Women are working in different sectors. Many of these women were highly educated, but not really encouraged to enter the labor market. And once the space opened up, you really had an influx of women who were highly competent, intelligent, and may have been working in other industries that were parallel to kind of the formal economy.
The sports sector, for one, has seen a 150% increase in women's participation, following the lifting of restrictions that prevented women from taking part in competitive sports. Today, there are over 6,000 female athletes in the country, a number that's expected to grow as professional clubs and national teams ramp up training for female athletes. That is what attracted professional goalkeeper Fanny Supriyanto to the country. The Indonesian national now plays for a domestic league club here, where she works alongside locals and other international players to realize shared goals.
Dengan terbukanya pemerintah tentang wanita yang boleh berolahraga, itu membuka peluang potensi untuk wanita agar bisa lebih membuka potensi mereka. Sama kayak pertanyaan sebelumnya, kita punya tujuan yang sama, kita juga pengen punya hasil yang memuaskan untuk tim ini saat ini, dan juga sedih, senang, gembira, kecewa dengan hasil pertandingan kita pernah rasain. Dan itu membuat kita semua saling support satu sama lain.
Saudi Arabia's efforts to help women chase their dreams and earn places in the A teams of their chosen sectors have attracted the attention of spectators from around the world. This projection of inclusivity bodes well for the kingdom's plans to host the FIFA World Cup in 2034, a billion-dollar project fueled by oil revenue. It's emblematic of the Gulf Falcons' ambitions to become playmakers in the global arena. From the biggest single sporting event in the world to a global conference to address the worst environmental crisis in generations, the Gulf Falcons are starting to play more prominent roles on the world stage. Stepping up global engagements is a core pillar of the region's economic transformation plans as countries seek to diversify not just their economies, but their foreign partnerships as well.
If we were to look at the traditional partnerships of the Gulf states, the first and foremost we will of course list the United States. Washington has been a traditional security partner for the region. They have numerous bases in the region, whether it's air or sea or land forces. They are there in the region, they are being deployed in the region. And we have seen how the US reacted when the Gaza war broke out, and they have sent 2 carrier strike groups to the region. And this means that the US presence will not diminish. And this is from a very security and defense perspective. But if we look beyond the security lenses, if we are looking at economics, geoeconomics, if you like, the Gulf states have pivoted away. These efforts have been intensifying over the past 5 years, especially with the engagements in Asia with the big 3, Japan, South Korea, and China. Most of the Gulf states have a comprehensive strategic partnership with China. And this is the highest tier of diplomacy that any country can have with Beijing.
Apart from China, South Korea is also actively engaging with the Gulf states. The East Asian country is in the process of finalizing a free trade agreement with the 6-member GCC bloc. It already ships billions of dollars in exports to the UAE and other Gulf states annually. But there's one particular Korean export that locals can't get enough of: skincare products. Demand for these items has risen by 30% in recent years. This has attracted Tups, a leading beauty brand that sells lotions, serums, and facial services. Its founder, Sang-mi Woo, has been participating in the country's beauty fairs for the past few years. Impressed by the interest in her products, she partnered fellow Korean, Roman 10, to bring her franchise to the UAE.
The biggest reason why Korean products are popular here, I think this is like K-wave. It's like Korean dramas, K-pop, because they like watching some movies and dramas and they can see like maybe like good skin. Maybe they just want to like learn or use the same products what Koreans are using.
저희가 첫 번째로 UAE에 해외 법인 지사를 설립한 이유는 UAE는 다양한 나라들이 같이 함께 섞여서 일하는 곳이기 때문에 저희가 UAE의 제품을 먼저 소개를 하게 되면 주변 국가로 훨씬 더 빠르게 확장할 것이라는 그런 기대감이 있었습니다. 아직까지는 저희가 피부에 기초한 그런 제품들을 위주로 고객들에게 솔루션을 제공을 하고 있지만 지금 현재 UAE를 기점으로 해서 이 주변 국가들에 조금 더 디테일한 솔루션을 제공을 할 수 있도록 이런 화장품 개발할 수 있는 R&D 부서를 UAE에 설립을 하는 것도 저희의 또 다른 목표 중에 하나입니다.
It's about a month to the opening of Sang-mi and Roman's first skincare lounge in the Middle East. Here they will provide treatments such as facial therapy and massages. But there's one problem. The pair still haven't found enough staff to run it.
If we want to hire like staff from Korea, it's gonna be like really expensive for us because Korea and Dubai is like not really close. And you want to travel is like taking like around 10 hours. And also salary is like really high in Korea, so I think it's better just heavy stuff, like maybe from here.
Today, Sang Mi is conducting a working interview. Applicants interested in working at their lounge are put through a one-day crash course to learn the various treatments. Those who perform these procedures correctly would then be sent for training by Korean professionals. Despite the strong interest in Korean skin care from the local community, none of the job applicants that have shown up today are Emirati. This is reflective of a broader trend across GCC states like the UAE and Saudi Arabia. Locals in these countries are notably missing in low and middle-skilled trades. They are overrepresented in public service instead. This has led to an overdependence on foreign talent for many jobs in the region.
The public sector in the Gulf is more attractive because your upward mobility is almost guaranteed. That's number one. And number two, they have attractive salary packages. And number three, in some ways, especially in the government sector, nationals feel like they are representing their country. So it's a sense of pride involved. So whenever they see a job offer coming from the government sector, there are high chances that the national will snap it up. But the problem is, in some countries, these kind of jobs, especially when you do not have connections with specific personalities in the respective sectors, the job that you take up might be a mismatch of the skills that you possess. So you might not be working in the desired job and applying your skills accordingly.
Over in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Indonesian national William Rusli is living his dream. He and his wife Sharon run a new luxury restaurant in the capital's downtown, which they set up with their friend, a Korean celebrity chef. They moved here because they felt the recent pouring of expats and investments into the country were the right ingredients for the fresh F&B sector to sizzle. With most of the restaurants here serving Middle Eastern fare, they saw an opportunity. They now cater to a growing hunger for more diversity and variety in the country's culinary scene. After deliberating hard about their menu, the couple found a sweet spot serving desserts and Pan-Asian cuisine. If business heats up, the couple has sights on expanding to other markets in the region.
I think it's good to start here because I think like Saudi have like very high standard. All the standards have to be met. It's not complicated. It's just like it's really detailed to get all the certificate, to have all the safety, food health clearance. All the employee need to have training in food safety standard and stuff. Like every calorie have to be counted. Like it has to be on the menu, like how many calories for the food. So this is a good start to build a restaurant brand. Because once you already open in Saudi, you have all the base to open everywhere else.
The couple is constantly on the lookout for an apprentice whom they could groom to take over the running of the kitchen. But interest in the field is lukewarm, especially among locals.
We didn't see yet for the local Saudis in the F&B industry. Most of them maybe own the restaurant. So far I see all over my friends also in the restaurant industry. We don't see a lot of Saudi to be in the kitchen. We get our stuff from abroad as well.
If you were to look at low to medium skilled workers, and you look at the competition in this area between nationals and foreigners, what you need is really to reduce the deficit because the national is not willing to accept the pay cut, so the government has to cushion that by providing subsidies to reduce the gap or to close that gap between the wages of a national and a non-national.
The key to the success of the economic diversification project in the GCC states will be to create employment that is meaningful and valuable for young people, where they really feel like they're contributing in order for them to continue to want to invest in themselves and to want to contribute to that economic growth. So you need investment in both that hard technical skill that you would get through really deep specialization, but you also need a lot of investment in those soft skills that make you more agile and more ready to change.
Encouraging locals in the Gulf Falcons to embrace different forms of work requires a mindset change, one that might take time to inculcate. But with more foreign startups and firms setting up in the region, locals now have a larger pool of professions and industries to choose from. Attracting these investments is not just about incentives and infrastructure. It's also about providing a welcoming environment for expats and their families so that they may feel comfortable enough to call the region a home away from home.
Tons of fun. I hope you had fun.
This Singaporean businessman is no stranger to taking risks. He spent 30 years as a commando in the Singapore Armed Forces, where he was a founding member of the military's parachute team, the Red Lions. After hanging up his boots in 2009, he ventured to Abu Dhabi to survey new ground and explore a career in the city's burgeoning meetings, incentives, conferences and events, or MICE, sector.
Very good. I just got a call from the client that all the designs has been approved except for minor changes. So I came here, I take a look, and I see there's a lot of potential. Being a creative person myself, even in the military, I organize a lot of events. So I was planning for like 2 years of stint to be in Abu Dhabi and see how it goes, and there I am, 15 years, still here.
Today, his company, Red Philo, is a trusted name in the country's event space. Pach Ang feels he might not have enjoyed the same success if he had set up his business in Singapore.
It's an event company. Singapore is small, and of course, the smaller the country, the more the competition. You cannot compare to the number of events in Singapore and the number of events here. This is something interesting that I can say. Like a large-scale events here, for example, an exhibition. In one single exhibition, you can have up to 5,500 exhibitors from all over the world. 190 countries coming here to do one exhibition. So this shows how big is the event that is happening in Abu Dhabi and why everybody wants to be here in Abu Dhabi doing the event, because this is the hub. You can see there's a sudden influx in the MICE industry, lots of conferences, major conference like COP28. Spaghetti something.
Living in the nation's capital, Pach has had a front row seat to witness how the UAE has transformed into a world-class commercial hub over the years. He notes that the country has become well set up for the entire family, making it an attractive place for expats, especially those who seek to bring their loved ones along for the ride.
I think the structure, the way Abu Dhabi is designed, is very similar to Singapore. It is very safe. You have a lot of activities for the family. A school is good here, it's easy access. Driving from one place to the other, point to point, is not very far away. A great community, lots of Singaporeans, Malaysian, Indonesian, that we make friends along the way. I mean, for the last 15 years, I have my own group of Asian community, and we always do get together.
The cosmopolitan nature of the UAE has also made Pach comfortable enough to express his Peranakan identity, which also serves as a networking tool. In 2021, he and his wife established Rumah Peranakan, a private dining experience, by opening up their home's dining room to guests from all walks of life and nationalities. The couple bond with fellow expats and future clients over a home-cooked Peranakan meal.
Now, being Singaporean, especially Peranakan, we are very into food. Peranakan brings people together. You tell the stories about Peranakan through food. I get to meet new people, learn new culture from them, but importantly, I make new friends. And some of the new friends that I made evolves into business.
Today, Patch is hosting a Lunar New Year get-together. His guests at this potluck event represent the rich diversity among the expat community in Abu Dhabi, a city known for being a melting pot of different cultures. Among the guests is Chinese expat Hector Ren.
You have all the community here. Friends, fellow Singaporean, you talk the same lingo, you eat the same food, we share food, home-cooked food. So never once I feel homesick.
Ready? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3,
Over in Dubai, another Lunar New Year event is underway. It's organized by the Chinese expat community here, who make up nearly 5% of the country's population. Tonight's host is Chu Wei-jun, who works in the sustainability sector.
1年下来以后，大家在一起聚一下，然后大家相互见个面啊，问个好啊，交换一下信息啊，然后一起聚着吃一道，然后有唱歌、有节目表演啊之类的，大家可能也会有一个互动。我们没有感觉到是自己在海外。 就是也会很开心的过农历春年。
Wei-jun sure knows how to throw a party, but he's equally serious about his work. He runs a factory that recycles the country's plastic waste. Before a recent ban on single-use plastic products in the country, billions of plastic bags and bottles were used in the UAE annually.
有太多的那种废料要弄，必须要像我们这种企业去回收、再利用。他们从生活垃圾中回收以后，我们把它再生产成那个原料，然后再他们通过原料去生产其他产品，来循环这个经济。那产品可以再循环。
Over the next decade, the UAE is seeking to move beyond repurposing its own plastic waste and establish itself as a global hub for plastic recycling. This fills a void left by China. In 2017, the superpower threw global markets into turmoil when it stopped buying the world's discarded plastics. This created an opportunity for the UAE. It intends to turn used PET, the plastic found in food wrappers and water bottles, into protective medical gear and other products that could be exported to the rest of the world. This not only presents another source of revenue for the country, but also helps reduce carbon emissions. To meet ambitious targets it set for itself as host of the recent COP28 summit, the UAE seeks to recycle more than 10,000 tons of PET annually. Wei-jun sees this as a tall order, but welcomes the challenge.
我们有自己的经验，我们也怎么处理东西。如果产量大了，对我们来说肯定是经济效益也会同步增长。但同步呢，从某种角度上说呢，也是反馈给等于说阿联酋的一个社会效益，因为它人来的多了，然后生活垃圾多了，就是回收的量也对政府来说是一个压力。或者我们呢可以帮政府，承担这一部分的压力，让那个阿联酋的环境更好。
In 2015, the Chinese community in Dubai formed a running club.
这是第一桥，第二桥，这第一桥。
Wei-jun joined them in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic after months of self-imposed lockdown. It has since become more than an exercise routine. It's a celebration of camaraderie and a common identity, shared by a community who have come to call this country in the Gulf a home away from home.
有中国人一个社群，然后你就会觉得那个地方就像家一样，你不会感到孤独。 然后根据这个团队呢，团队是非常好的一个亮点呢，是公益性的，不收任何费用，大家都是自发的。到了那个点，大家反正带着一点吃的，带着一些补给啊，然后互帮互助，所以然后大家相互分享经验。就说我是这个经验的，不要受伤啊，这个鞋很好，这里哪有便宜的？然后一起训练去比赛啊，你不要开车了，就是大家车里面有空位置了，大家就把它顺便带过去啊，那一类的，所以呢，就是感觉到非常的开心。
你的步频多少？288。
我的性格是这样，我呢工作是工作，生活是生活，就工作的时候。我很认真，但是我工作完了以后，我玩很投入的，工作也要投入，拼命的工作，拼命的玩，这是我的个性。
A place that is conducive to live, work, and play in. This experience is shared by many expats across the Gulf Falcons, and many of them are here for the long haul. They continue to work hard to transform their careers and entire industries. In doing so, they bear witness to sweeping changes that promise to transform not just economies, but these societies as well.